So in this video, we'll take a look at JavaScript default parameters and we'll do some destructuring. So let's say we have this function that simply logs a message to the console. So let's write message here and let's write hello and hit refresh, and there it is. Now that works fine, but if I remove hello, we'll get undefined. Now what we've done in the past is doing something like an if statement and checking for undefined and then applying our default value. So let's do something like no message. So if we hit refresh, there's no message, and we can check real quick that it works with the value. And now with default params, it's a lot easier. So if we just remove this and cut this out and simply paste it here, save and refresh, and it still says hello, but if we remove this, refresh, it now says no message. Now let's take a look at destructuring assignments, or specifically object destructuring. So let's say we have this object with some data. So we have a title, a subtitle, a hero image, and a body. So let's go ahead and create a function that simply logs the subtitle and the hero image. So let's do data and console.log of subtitle and hero image. We could do something like const subtitle equals data.subtitle. But now this isn't destructuring, so there is a better way to do it. If we wrap this in curly braces, and let's add hero image as well, and then remove subtitle from here. So if we make a call to this function now, supply data, hit refresh, you can see there it is. So what we're essentially doing here is pulling the value of subtitle out from data at the same time as we're creating a new variable called subtitle. Now this is a really simple example, but let's say that the title and the image actually exist nested deeply inside of data. Then it's really tedious to write something like .object. You get the idea. Instead we get these short usable names on one line of code. Now these properties need to correspond to those in the actual data object. So let's say we want to rename subtitle to title and hero image to image. We can do this simply by adding a colon and variable names here. So image. And if we refresh, everything still works. Now to connect to the default params part of this video, let's say subtitle is undefined. So if we want the default value, we can add it right where destructuring. So if we hit refresh, we can see the default value there. So this is great to use for something like settings or options or even app state, where you only want to change one or two values out of a set. So let's say we have this settings function that contains a set of settings like X, Y, and Z, all with default values of 0. Now by adding the empty object to the right hand side of the params, make sure that we can call this function without any params at all, like if we want to apply the default settings altogether. It might look strange, but if you look at it, you see that it's pretty much the same thing as we did before, but here it's done right inside of the function arguments. So let's continue by making a console log of x, y, and z. So we can do a call to settings, and if we hit refresh, we'll get the default values. Now let's set x to 15 and z to 10. Now if we refresh, we'll get the values. So as you see, I'm only supplying and changing the x and z value. Also, you're not restricted to keeping things in order, which is perfect when dealing with large sets. So let's change z to 25 to make it a bit clearer. So yeah, that's it. That's default parameters and some destructuring for you. So try out this little assignment on screen now to really make it stick. And also check out the links in the description for more information on these things. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you learned something new today, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.